losing my connection to nature and being able to maintain helping other people get out into nature as well. So that's when I came up with my app called On the Hunt. So a little story to tell you guys about where I got this idea. I think anyone with kids or nieces or nephews can kind of relate. Kids are often telling you that they're bored and they have no idea what to do. So that's where my app comes into play. On the Hunt is going to give you guys a randomized scavenger hunt. So you'll get a list. Here's an example down here on the home page when you first come in. And you can see you can click on the words here and that'll drop down a picture just in case they don't know what the item is that they're looking for. Once they find it, they can give it a little check mark here. So as I was showing this to my nephew, he said it sounded really cool. So we went ahead and I logged them in over here. Get a little welcome there from our bear, and it brings you to your homepage here, which is going to show you previously made hunts that you have, but he doesn't want to do those. He wants his own. So we'll come down here. We'll name it Braden's Hunt. And then from there, you get to select a theme. Right now, we've got nature and a Christmas theme, so we're going to go with nature. He doesn't want to look for too long, so we're just going to pick 5 items there. So this is what the hunt's going to look like. If you're happy with it, you can go ahead and save it. If you're not, you can click this button and it'll go ahead and generate you a brand new list. There we go. So enjoy your hunt. This brings us back to our home page here. Now you can see that our hunt is here. So you can go ahead and click into there and you just start looking around for everything. You can update this as well. So if it ever starts to rain or anything like that and you want to come back to it, you just don't have time. You just hit update there. You come back in, you can see that the check marks are still there. And once you're done with this hunt, once you find everything, you can go ahead and delete it. That way it's not clogging up your list here. And that's my app, On the Hunt. So the technology I used to build this app, I used Golang with Gorm and Mux on the back end with a Postgres database. And on the front end, I used React Native and Redux. So some of the challenges I faced making this app, this was my first time working in Go. It's not a language that we're taught in school. So it was quite different doing that compared to what we were taught. Also with React Native, this was my first time using that. It's for mobile development. The styling that is very different from web development and took a little while to get used to, but once you play around with it for a while, you get used to it. So if you have any more questions, my name is Kyle Trahan. There's my GitHub, email, and my LinkedIn. Thanks.
Outstanding, Kyle. Very well done. Those of us parents of small children in these quarantine times of ours appreciate your effort helping us find ways to keep them busy. All right. Now who I want to hear from? I want to hear from Jen. So Jen, fire away. How about a round of applause for Jennifer Grenier?
Thanks, Kyle. Again, my name is Jennifer Grenier, and I am a full-stack software developer. Before coming to tech, I worked in the outdoor industry for about 10 years. Along that journey, I got a bachelor's in anthropology, a master's in parks and recreation management, and as part of my master's, I had the opportunity to work with the Adaptive Sports Center in Crested Butte, Colorado. You can see on the far left here, that's me cheesing really big. It was during this time in Crested Butte that I really developed a professional passion for accessibility. And now that I transitioned into tech, I really wanted to bring that passion with me. So one of my favorite responsibilities with the Adaptive Sports Center was working logistics for a team of 15 adaptive cyclists. I made sure they had what they needed throughout the day and also would help them find a place to all eat dinner together after riding all day. I would research restaurants, give them a call, make sure I had reservations, and then we would show up to a front door that looked like this. Half of my team wouldn't even be able to get in the front door. I would be really frustrated, and it was even more frustrating for them. So my first solution to this is Socially Accessible Denver. Socially Accessible Denver is a full stack web app that allows users with disabilities to post reviews of different social locations in the Denver area with a focus on how accessible they were. So let's say that same team of cyclists are coming through Denver and they've reached out to me to see what might be a good place for them to have dinner. So I know they're going to be hungry, so burgers might be a good option. So let's take a look at Park Burger. So it looks like we have a review for Park Burger in the Rhino location. But it looks like this person found some limited accessible seating. So I don't think that'll work for our group. Let's keep looking. I saw Brutal Poodle down here. I really love their food, and I think the guys would like the atmosphere there. Okay, well, it looks like Jessie had a similar disability to most of my group, and she found it really accessible and had a good experience. So I'll go ahead, open that in Google, send them that link later so they know where they're going. And then the guys also let me know that they stopped and got a beer on the way in, and they wanted me to post a review for that too. Josh asked for 5 stars. And he sent me an image too, so we'll post that. Great, now it's up there so other people who are looking for a place to drink know that this could be a good place for them. And that is Socially Accessible Denver. So my tech stack for this project, on the front end, I used React, and then my back end was built with Node, with Express, and a Postgres database. Throughout my process, I used the web accessibility evaluation tool as well. So some challenges I faced. First one was working with the Google Maps API. So I used it for the embedded map as well as my autocomplete function. And thankfully, it's a really well documented API, so I was able to reference those to make sure I was implementing it how I intended. And then accessibility. This was my first time implementing something with the target audience being individuals with disabilities. So I really wanted it to reach at least a AA WCAG accessibility standard. So again, I used that Wave tool, and it really helped me make some smart choices about colors, contrast, as well as my forms and buttons. If you'd like to get in touch with me, here's my email as well as my social media. And you can also find me starting December 7th at the monthly JavaScript meetups that I'm going to be co-hosting. Thank you.
Yeah, outstanding work, Jen. You got a proud school behind you here. All right, Kelsey, go ahead and share when ready. All right, how about we have a big round of applause for Kelsey Crehan.
Thank you, Kyle. Hi, everyone. My name is Kelsey Crehan, and I am a full stack software engineer. Start off with a little bit about myself. I went to college at American University for political science, which is something that I've always had a passion for. After college, aside from a brief stint working for a beer company, I held a long line of roles either in government or somewhere within the political arena. Despite my passion for politics, however, I was never really able to find happiness in any of my previous roles in the industry. So I decided to transition to tech, where I happily am now. So throughout my time working in politics, I picked up on a troubling issue, which is a huge disconnect between politics and actual policy. Well, I think most people tend to be aware of all the hot button political issues going on. Many people don't actually know who's making the decisions and who's representing them while they are. And contacting your representatives is one of the easiest and most effective ways to make your voice heard. But obviously, if you don't know who to get in touch with, you're not going to be engaging. So, introducing Swing Vote. Now let's say that I am Jessica, a registered independent voter and rancher from Greeley, Colorado. While I consider myself to be relatively informed, I'm actually not sure who my political representatives are. So I am just gonna log in. All right, and it looks like I can browse through different candidates, officials, and upcoming elections. But as I said, I'm most interested in learning about my current representatives. So I'll just enter in my zip code. And then I have a full list of representatives to peruse through. And I think I'm most interested in learning more about my governor. All right, so I can view some office information as well as some personal information. And now that I feel like I know Jared a little better, I'm gonna go ahead and throw him a like. All right, and now I can head over to my profile page and I can view my recent activity. And then I also have my liked and disliked politicians here for once election time rolls around. And that is swing votes. So while making this app, the technologies that I used were React Native for the front end, Ruby on Rails for the back end, and Postgres for my database. And while building this app, the challenges that I faced were finding a dependable set of data, also that didn't cost a lot of money, and then working with that large data set, kind of maneuvering around, which really just came with practice. And then this was my first time attempting a mobile application. So there's a bit of a learning curve with React Native, but after going through the process, I actually think I prefer mobile development. And here's my contact info if you would like to get in touch. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelsey. Well done, well done. Outstanding, and we expected no less. Very nice work. Now, throw on your parka because we're about to head over to the frozen oil fields. How about we have a warm round of applause for Brian Oyloe.
Thank you very much, Kyle. As he said, my name is Brian Oyloe, and I am a full-stack software engineer. A little bit about myself, like Kyle said, I have a background in the oil and gas industry. Since 2011, I've been working in remote locations, mostly North Dakota, in oil and gas, and I went and got a petroleum engineering degree in 2018, and that's when I decided to move out to Denver with my wife and our 2 cats. Since moving out to Denver, I have really gotten into the mountain life. I love skiing, I love hiking, I really enjoy being outdoors at every opportunity we can take advantage of. One thing that I hated working in the oil field is a large part of my job was spent doing manual inventory tracking. I would walk around rig sites and take inventory of all the chemicals on location. Well, this is a problem when you're working somewhere like North Dakota because winter in the oil field sucks. As you can see, it's cold, it's miserable. And actually, if you get down cold enough, your ink pens don't even write anymore when it's in the -40 range. This is a problem also because paper copies are often easy to lose. You lose your paper copy, you got to go do it all over again. Probably the most important reason, though, is that my handwriting is awful even when I'm not wearing gloves. So you can imagine what it's like during the winter. This caused me to think of an idea I like to call the Oyloe Inventory Management System. What this is going to be a mobile app that you can download to your smartphone and use to keep track of chemical inventories on site. This allows you to have rapid reporting as you're typing directly into your phone. This also would lead to more accurate counts as you're not transferring from a paper copy to a digital copy later on. It's much faster than just writing on paper. You can just tap it into your smartphone, and there is no learning curve. Everybody's already got a smartphone. Everybody already knows how to use it, so you don't have to do any additional training. So now I'm going to show you the Oyloe Inventory Management System. So here we come to our home screen, and we've already been given an account by our IT department, so we will log in with our password, our username and password. And that will take us to our home screen. So now from our home screen, we can actually do one of 2 things. We can input new deliveries as they come onto location to update our on-site quantities, or we could go around and actually do our daily inventory. We're going to go ahead and input some new products that we received on location, it looks like. So we come to this generated delivery ticket and we can add a new product. And it looks like we got some calcium chloride in, about 80 sacks there. So we'll add that to our ticket. And looks like we also got some drum product in, that's some Cyromol. So we're going to go ahead and put that in. And looks like we got about 40 drums of that in today. So now that we have our delivery ticket all set, we can submit this to our database. It'll bring us back to our home screen. And now we're going to go walk around and actually take our inventory. And while walking around, we noticed, Looks like one of the roughnecks got crazy with the forklift and hit these poly beads, so we're gonna have to charge him for those. So looks like about 2 of those sacks got broke, so we only have about 38 now. And yesterday we were using a lot of defoamer, so we're down to about 12. And so now we can enter that. We'll submit our daily inventory, enter that, and we're back on our home screen. That is the Oyloe inventory management system. So the tech stack that I was using for this app was working with TypeScript in a React Native framework on my front end. And for the back end, I did Node with Express and a MongoDB database. Some of the challenges that I faced, working in a strongly typed language like TypeScript was very difficult at first, especially with the custom data types that I was bringing in with my product information. I spent a lot of time in the documentation, but finally figured out how to do it. And as was mentioned in some of the other presentations, styling for a mobile app is actually kind of difficult when you come from working mostly in a browser. But after getting the hang of it, it is actually a much more enjoyable experience to do it in a mobile. Here is my contact information if you'd like to get in touch with me. And thank you very much.
Well done, Brian. Very nice, very nice. Outstanding work, sir. All right, Terrell, wow us. How about a big hearty round of applause for Terrell Cooper?
Hello, hello. I am Terrell Cooper, and I am a full stack software engineer. Some of my experience is I worked in property management not too long ago, so leasing apartments and kind of things like that, basically the whole inside of an apartment. And I also worked with commercial exterior renovation, so wood replacement and paint for the outside of the apartment. And what I've learned from both of those jobs is they're very demanding and they're it makes you anxious. So I really love to send memes to kind of keep that anxiousness down. So that's why I created, I created this app to get the reaction of people's memes, or when you send a meme, you can get the reaction of somebody's meme that they sent you. So let's go ahead and get into Reclip. So right here, I'm gonna load up the app. And right here, you're greeted with the login screen. So let's go ahead and get logged in. Awesome. So now here we're at our profile screen. So from here, we can check out our camera. So this is how the reaction works. But here, I'm gonna go ahead and send a meme over right here. I'm gonna send that to my girlfriend. So over here, oh, it looks like she's already viewed it too. So I have a reaction ready. So I'm gonna go ahead and check out her reaction. Does not look like she liked my meme too much. So I'm gonna go ahead and get logged out before it gets too crazy. So I created this app with React Native using Expo, Firebase, and Firestore backend, and I use styled components for some of the styling. Some of the challenges I faced were switching from web development to mobile development. There's a lot of nuances that I wasn't quite ready for, but I definitely got a hold of them and started going pretty hard. And also working with the camera. I never knew how much actually goes into making a camera work and getting everything going, but that was definitely pretty cool learning that. If you would like to contact me, here's my Gmail, GitHub, and also LinkedIn. Thank you, and don't forget to send a meme.
Yes, very nice, Terrell. Outstanding work, congratulations. Well, hey, you like movies? Well, I like movies, and someone else who likes movies is Victor Amigo. So Victor, share when ready. And how about we have a hearty round of applause for Victor Amigo.
There.
There you
Sorry.
go. You're all good, baby.
So, hi everyone. My name is Victor Amigo, and I'm here to talk to you about Cinepub. I'm a full stack web developer and a recent graduate with a bachelor's degree in civil engineering. During my last year in college, I started to realize I wasn't going to pursue my major as a lifelong career. So that's when I decided to enroll in an introductory C++ course, which was ultimately what led me towards pursuing software engineering as a lifelong career. Additionally, I enrolled in an introductory film and television course, which sparked my interest in the business of filmmaking and where it's headed. After learning and researching more about it, I found out that the show business is nearing a stagnation point. The number of tickets sold has steadily declined for the last 20 years, as you can see in this graph. Similarly, the total box office, if adjusted for inflation, has also been steadily declining due to the decreasing numbers of movie attendance. But not only is it decreasing, but upwards of 90% of this revenue accounts for the 5 or 6 major Hollywood blockbusters that make huge revenues every year, which the theaters and the studios depend on. This is unfortunately leaves behind many independent and lower budget films out of major theater screenings, and most of the times going unnoticed. That's why I decided to create Cinepub. It intends to introduce the average moviegoer to carefully curated films in their local favorite social spots and provide a unique movie experience characterized by its high quality sound, visuals, and artistic content. So let's imagine a regular Friday night and you would like to watch a good, challenging movie, but you don't want to watch it alone at home or with friends or pay for overpriced snacks at a movie theater. So Cinepub is that perfect alternative for such scenario. It will allow people to enjoy cinema as an art form and give filmmakers a more intimate space to share their creative endeavors. So let me show you the app. So in the home screen, you'll be able to see the latest news and events happening in Cinepub's community. Here in the About page, you will be able to further read about Cinepub's goal and mission. Once you get to the Find Screening page, you'll be able to filter by location, where you'll be able to see all of the locations where screenings are being held, as well as the movies and showtimes for each specific screening. When you go to filter by movie, you'll also be able to see the content that we hold, as well with a small synopsis, the destination, and their specific showtimes. Finally, if you are interested in becoming a partner, this is where you would find all of the requirements and specifications of the screenings and equipments. Also, there's a frequently asked questions page where all of the answers are displayed and will answer other important details about Cinepub. Okay, so the frameworks that I used for the backend, I used Node.js with Express and MongoDB database. For the front end, I used React as well as Bootstrap for styling. So my biggest challenge was basically setting up the database and Node.js, since I had never used those technologies beforehand. I also encountered some CSS styling obstacles as well as backend deployment issues, but I was able to resolve them. Here is my contact information if you'd like to know more about Cinepub or anything else. Thank you very much for your attention.
Outstanding work, Victor. Very nice, very nice, very nice. We've been talking about in the broader dev community having like a movies of 1999 like series, and now I know how we're gonna get this put together. All right, great job. Luis, you around? How about we have a big hearty round of applause for Luis Garcia?
Thank you, Kyle. Hello, everyone. My name is Luis Garcia, and I am a software engineer. A little bit about me: I love to problem solve. I love to code, and then when I'm not coding, I love to be outside with my son. So the problem, one day my girlfriend came back from her run and told me how while on her run, she noticed a truck passed by, and then a few minutes later it passed again. And then the third time, except this time it parked next to the curb down the block. Frightened, my girlfriend turned around and ran back home as quick as she could, thinking to herself, none of this would have ever happened if she had someone to run with. So introducing LinkUp. With LinkUp, users who live an active lifestyle will be able to get together and work out without having fear of being attacked or kidnapped. So let's get into the demo. You can sign in, and so put in my username, then my password, and you hit login, and you're greeted with the feed of posts that other users created. And so you can see the activity they want to run, which is sprints or walking, and you can see the user and the time and the location they want to meet, and then you can click on the post and it'll give you a bit more detail. And then you can also create your own post. And I want to go for a distance run. And then we'll say later today. We'll do 7 after presentation. And then we can meet up at random country. And we can hit submit, and our post will render on the bottom. And so that's my app. And so the technologies I used were React Native for the front end, Ruby on Rails for the back end, and SQLite for the database. Some of the challenges I faced were learning a new language. It was pretty difficult, but with a little bit of researching and Googling, I was able to overcome some of the obstacles. And also, some of the styling was pretty difficult for a mobile app. And if you'd like to get in contact with me, here's my information. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Luis. Awesome. So we're coming up on our last presentation of the first block, but you better not go anywhere after this because we have all kinds of outstanding stuff. But until then, how about a big hearty round of applause for Dan Madera? Hey.
Thank you, Kyle. So my name is Daniel Madera, and I am a full stack software developer. A little bit about me. I graduated from the University of New Mexico with a degree in exercise science. And with that degree, most of my previous work has been in health and fitness, as well as professional baseball. So as you can see from my previous work experience, I like to be active and I like sports. That led me to join a lot of adult recreation sports leagues. Recently, everything from kickball, ultimate frisbee, and most importantly, softball. And there's 2 big things I found out about these rec leagues. One, they are a ton of fun. They help you meet a lot of new people, de-stress from the workday, and just have an all-around good time. But on the flip side of that is these leagues are terribly managed. They have horrible communication. Usually you get one email at the start of the season, and then you never hear from any admin whatsoever, which can lead to a lot of frustrations, especially here in Denver. It can be 75 degrees at lunchtime and then a snowstorm in the afternoon. Who knows if your game's been canceled or not? There's also a lot of issues with people using iOS devices or Android. You can't exactly get a group chat going. That's why I decided to develop League Chat. League Chat is going to be a mobile app that allows for league and game updates. It allows for team communication, and then it also allows for a game schedule, so you know who you're playing against each week. Let's go ahead and check it out. So this is League Chat. We'll go ahead and use a hypothetical user. Call him Tom. He's going to go ahead and log in. First thing Tom is going to see is the announcements. Looks like for the game this week, there are none, luckily, so game is still on. Next thing, he'll go and check out the schedule. He's a member of the Git Forked, so it looks like they're taking on the Only Spans this week. Should be a good game. And then next week, they're going to take on Ahmed's Algos. The last thing he'll end up doing is going into the message section where you can see what all of his team has been talking about, maybe introduce himself if he's new to it. And that is League Chat. So the tech that was used to build this app is going to be Firebase storage on the back end to store all the data, and then React Native on the front end. The biggest challenge that I had with developing this app is it was my first time ever building a mobile app, which is very different from a web app. But luckily there was very good documentation on the React Native website, and also found a lot of useful information on people's personal blogs, as well as YouTube had a lot of good information to help me along the way. If you have any questions or would like to get in contact with me, you can reach out to me at any of the links provided. Thank you so much for your time and watching my presentation.
Hey, way to go, Dan. Outstanding work. So, everybody, do you want to know how technology can maybe help millennial homeownership? How you can annotate things to share with your friends, or maybe just learn how to survive an avalanche? Well, stay tuned. At 5:45, you're going to see all that and so much more. So, see you in 9 minutes.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Kyle, so good to see your face.
It's so good to see your face, Brian.
Are we ready for the second half of the show this evening?
I think we gotta be. Ben, are you present, ready? And audience, are you ready to see what this guy's got? Screen share when ready, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, how about we have a big, hearty round of applause for Ben Rowe?
Yeah, Ben Rowe, full stack software developer. A little about me. I studied material science engineering at Cornell University and Drexel for a shade over 5 semesters, at which point I finally accepted that I had to switch things up if I wanted to be happy. So I tried out a lot of different roles. Some of them were more formal than others, for sure. But regardless of what I was doing, I found that the most crucial aspect is always communication. And with a contagious virus going around, being on the same page is more important than ever. You know, a buddy wants to go to the bar, your boss needs you to go to work, the doctors on Twitter say if you step outside, you've murdered someone, and the news will only show you the most extreme eye-grabbing material. It's all rather convoluted. So, I invited over NurseBot. While she's here, she's designed to ease a person's access to COVID information, the use of chatbots overall is on the rise. According to a research consultancy firm called Gartner, chatbots are projected to save America $8 billion in 2021, geez, 6 weeks away, and account for over 50% of the software development budget. Sounds like a good time to catch that train. But let's see, don't let me get ahead of myself. Let's see what NurseBot can do for us first. So I'm heading home for Thanksgiving, back to Philly. There'll be some senior citizens, a baby, a flight to get there. Yeah, so I should probably get tested and at least make sure, I'm not gonna get any of those guys sick. So let's see. Cough, last more than 4 days. No. Do you have a fever? Only slightly, Doc. Let's see. State. Yeah. Fauci's getting a little sassy with me here. There we go. Let's see. What do we got? 5 testing sites, Stapleton location. I mean, I'm not gonna walk it, but it's worth the test is definitely worth an Uber. So I will get over there shortly. So let's see. NurseBot here. She's a React app on a Node.js server, connecting the end user to Google's natural language processor. It's called Dialogflow. And there's also some material UI in there for design, and some of the symptom information is stored on Mongo. Let's see, technical challenges. Biggest one by far, integrating Google's services into my webhook server. They got a bunch of free stuff and then way more paid stuff, and they make it very difficult to use the free stuff without buying and using their integration tools. It's it's curious. Mapping out the conversation flows were really fun. I had to keep myself from falling down the rabbit hole of AI and all the possibilities it will present going forward. So if you have questions on COVID, reach out to NurseBot. For anything else, I'd love to hear from you. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Ben. Well done, well done, well done. All right. So I mentioned that you might need to learn how to keep safe from avalanches. Well, here to tell you how is the one and only Shelly Brook.
Thanks, Kyle. As Kyle mentioned, my name is Shelly Brook, and I am a full stack software engineer. A little bit about me. I graduated from the University of Kansas with a degree in business management, and I spent the summers working as a camp counselor out here in Colorado, where I fell in love with the mountains. Moved out here after, and I've been working in a variety of outdoor industry roles since. The last 5 years working as operations manager for a nonprofit called Paradox Sports. And during that time, I also volunteered for a couple of years as the Colorado coordinator for She Jumps, which is to educate women on the outdoors. My role as operations manager for Paradox Sports has exposed me to working with a lot of our systems and our platforms, including our website, transitioning to a new database, and lots of Excel spreadsheets. But this has guided me to pursue a career in software engineering. As we all know, winter is coming, and 2020 does not look normal. Here in Colorado, most people head to the hills to escape the indoors and get a little socialization and exercise in the winter.
by skiing. But we already know that the ski resorts are implementing a lot of restrictions. And this means there's going to be more people in the backcountry. And this is something that has been a growing sport over the last few years anyway. Over the years, I've had a lot of friends reach out to me and ask where they can go to get information on how to start backcountry skiing. And I always end up having to send them an email with a list of a lot of different areas where they can go, different providers who give courses, and it ends up being just really disorganized and disconnected, which is why I created one integrated platform called Avi Upskill. So let me move the Zoom here. Avi Upskill is, like I said, one integrated platform. If I'm a new backcountry skier, I can come here and I can just see where to go for some basic information about education, where I can practice my skills with my gear, and where I can go to ski. There's also a brief overlook of the current weather. This is up at Eisenhower Tunnel, so on the Continental Divide. First, what I want to do though is check out the courses. So it's been a while since I've been in the backcountry, and so I want to make sure that I have all my skills up to date. The one-day course is the Avalanche Rescue course, and I've heard really good things about the Colorado Mountain School. So let me check out their course at the end of the month. I could go here and register, but I'll probably come back and do that later. I'm actually heading to the mountains this weekend though, and just to get started, why don't I head to one of the beacon parks and practice my skills? Looks like there's one at the Frisco Adventure Park, and that one is it's free and easy to access. And after I practice, where am I going to go skiing? I'll head over to the backcountry zones. This is a crowdsourced portion of the site, so you can see on the map or by the list. I really like Floral Park. So I can see what people have said about Floral Park, but you know what? I also have been there a lot, and I want to add a comment. Floral Park is my favorite. And if I wanted to, I could also add another area here. But I'll head to my profile now, and this is where I track my backcountry days. So you can see I've already been out 4 days this season. Oh yeah, that day on Quandary, what a doozy. Not much snow in October. But I was out last weekend and I forgot to log it, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. I was at Mayflower Gulch, beautiful if you've never been. And that was Milo's first day skinning. Milo's our puppy. Now I'm up to 5, so I'll go ahead and log out. Some technologies I used for this was a Python and a Django backend built with a PostgreSQL database, and I used React for the front end. Did some web scraping to consolidate some of those sources with Beautiful Soup, and I deployed it with Firebase and Heroku. Some challenges developing this project, learning Python in just a couple weeks and doing the auth to protect some of those routes was quite new. Also writing a data scraping script for the first time, and there was also a nested href that I was trying to, a nested link that I was trying to gather information from in there, so it made it a little bit complicated. The CSS, I decided to not use a framework and just really try to hone my skills with CSS by doing it all from scratch, and that was a really big learning curve, but I learned a lot. And then also, this is the first app that I have deployed. So this site is live, and you can head over to aviupskill.firebase to see it. You can find me at sbrook13, email at Gmail, LinkedIn, or GitHub, and reach out if you want to go skiing.
Excellent. Well done, Shelly. Great work. So, if you're a millennial and you're like, how am I supposed to achieve the dream of home ownership? How could I do such a thing? Well, someone here to give you a path is the one, the only Elliot Stein.
Thank you, Kyle. Welcome to 710 Home Split. A little bit about me. My name is Elliot. I originally have a degree from Indiana University. I have a second degree from Western State in Land and Resource Management. I am a former oil and gas landman, which is the business and real estate side of oil and gas development, and I am now a full stack software engineer. problem I've noticed is that Denver has soaring real estate prices. 2020, the year of the pandemic, we've continued to see poor economic conditions, but real estate prices have continued to go up, another 12% just this year alone. It takes 10 plus years for most of us to buy, that being millennials and Gen Xers. I had this problem. I lived in Denver since 2010, and I waited until February of this year to close on my first home on Valentine's Day with my wife. This is a problem that faces so many of us, and we're getting priced out of the market with no equity. The solution is 710 Home Split. It's an app where you're able to make a friend and split a mortgage with someone. I kind of think of it like a Craigslist for mortgages. One of the easiest parts of buying a home is the mortgage process. The hardest is finding someone to split a mortgage with. Within the app, the user profile would come with your hobbies, social life, budget, or other like info that you would need in order to split a home with someone. We find roommates on Craigslist all the time, so why not find a mortgage partner? Let's check it out. We'll log in as my friend Dan Katz, who's a software developer here in town and makes about $80,000 a year. We'll first head over to the mortgage calculator, where you're able to see on the left what it would look like first picture if he was all by himself. He'd be looking at a $2,200 payment on a $410,000 purchase price. However, if he were to find someone to split the mortgage with, kind of some of the insurance, the tax rate, some of the other things that come with the home, he'd be bringing it down to $925 a month. Also, if they're able to come up with a full 20% for a down payment, they could bring that payment down to $766 a month and remove all the mortgage insurance. This would be much more reasonable for Dan, making about $70,000 to $80,000 a year. He's also able to see today's mortgage rates down here. Now that he knows his budget a little bit more, he's able to do some home shopping. He's able to view 100 live real estate listings in the Colorado area. He's also able to filter down each listing by price, and the red icons all are within Dan's budget, and the red icons are out of his budget, and the green ones are within his budget. Each home listing comes with the price as well as a small picture. Down here, Dan can see who else has liked each home. This one looks nice. He's able to even take a virtual tour of it. Back in the app, he's able to like this home and pop up other user information who's also liked it home. It looks like this is a nice match, as they have similar budgets, styles, and social activities. On the profile page, he's able to edit his profile if he comes up with a new budget or changes the job, and remove past likes like that. Finally, on the all users section, these are all the users that are currently in the app. Dan's able to filter down and see who in the app likes skiing, or this is everyone in the app that likes code, and he's able to quickly see who has a like budget, when their lease ends, and other that information, and could reach out to contact them. I built this app with a Django and Python backend and React for the front end. It's with a PostSQL database, as well as semantic UI for some styling, and the Google Map API for some interface. Some of the challenges I faced were 3 weeks ago, I was only able to print hello world to the screen using Python, and now I was able to build a full RESTful API. Also, since I'm dealing with user profile information, all my endpoints were locked down, and you require a token to enter. The last thing was MLS data is out there. It exists in a ton of places, but it's really hard to come by at low cost, and all the real estate listings you saw were real live listings. Thank you so much for joining me. I'd love to contact you more if you have any questions, or feel free to reach out. Here's a couple places to reach me. Thanks again.
Outstanding work, Elliot. Very well done. Cool. So, Jay, is there a Jay Oliver in the audience? God, and looking damn fancy too. How about we have a big hearty round of applause for Jay Oliver?
Thank you, Kyle. Like you said, my name is Jay Oliver, and I'm a full stack software developer. For the past 4 years, I ran a cell phone repair store, where a lot of my job was really just to read things online and share them with my team. This would be things like new repair processes, bugs with current software updates, and forum posts about new issues. Now, as a developer, I'm finding myself spending a lot of time doing similar tasks, like reading through pages of documentation. Even in my personal life, I'm always getting sent links to articles from friends and family. It really seems like in today's world, reading and sharing information on the web is one of the most common things we do. The issues with this is I end up having a ton of links in various apps that I never fully read. I also get a ton of articles that make bold claims in their headline, but might not be fully true once I read further. If I want to get to the meat and potatoes of an article, half the time that requires reading the whole thing and scrolling around to find the info that was shared with me. I realized there has to be a better way to share important information I found on a website easily. So that is why I made In Context. In Context is a web extension that attempts to solve these problems by giving you the ability to highlight any web page on the internet, save the highlighted web page, and share the page easily with friends or coworkers. Whether you use it to send a Stack Overflow fix to one of your teammates' bugs, or you send a news article that your friend misquoted with correct information highlighted, In Context is your one-stop shop to easily send web pages to your friends. So, in order to demonstrate this app, I'd like to pretend that I'm back at my old job. So, my teammate, Steve, is working on an iPhone 12 repair that came in. And he ran diagnostics on the phone and found that the battery is bad and needs to be replaced. The problem is we don't have any 12 Pro batteries in stock. We only have 12 batteries. So I argued that they should work just fine, and he doesn't think that they use the same battery. Thankfully, we both have In Context installed. So while he's finishing up the diagnostics, I can go down to the iFixit repair website, and I can go ahead and press Alt-Shift-H, which is my keyboard shortcut, to pop up In Context Editor. And now I can go ahead and start reading through the repair process. So we open up the phone, take the screen off, check out the cameras. None of this really matters to me. Okay, here's what I wanted, the battery repair. So I can go ahead and click on my highlighter, and we can see, yes, the 12 and 12 Pro use the same battery. I want to make that a little bit better, so we can erase that. The 12 and 12 Pro use the same battery, and they are interchangeable. So yeah, it does look like that's a decrease from the old generation, but you know, it's probably more efficient anyways. So this is all the information that Steve's going to need. So I can just go ahead and save that down here. And now even if I refresh or leave the page, that information is still there for me. But more importantly, I can share that information with Steve. So I can click on In Context and go to my contacts. This will pop up all of my Google contacts. So I can go ahead and send this over to Steve. And now if we go check out Steve's computer, we can click on In Context, and yep, see, we just got that in. So we'll press See the Context. That's going to open up a new tab and take him directly to the information. No scrolling required. So now Steve can see, yes, I was right, and he needs to hurry up and open up that phone. So the technologies I used to make this app were Web Extensions API. I use the Vue for the pop-up, and Node Express for my backend for message passing. The challenges that I faced in making this app were adding Vue to an extension. I started with React, wasn't going to work, so I ended up learning Vue about halfway through the project. And then also building a tool rather than an app. This was the first time I built just like a general purpose thing that needs to be able to highlight any text on the internet. And when you're not confined to just whatever you put in your app, that was a very different process for me. Yeah, if you want to contact me, here is my information. And if In Context interests you, it will be available on the Google Web Store. It's going through review right now. Thank you for listening to my presentation.
Hey, well done, Jay. Well done, Jay. Outstanding work, sir. All right, we got 2 more left. Are you ready for this? TJ, go ahead and fire away when ready.
Yes, sir.
And ladies and gentlemen, how about a big hearty round of applause for TJ Backors?
Thank you very much, Kyle. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. My name is TJ Backors, and I'm a full-stack software developer. Before getting into coding, originally out of school, I was a freelance film and video guy. And after that, I had a brief period as a professional beer brewer. But now as a programmer, I love it. And my favorite hobbies while as a programmer are doing jujitsu and playing video games. But speaking of my favorite things, let me introduce you to my wife, Amy, the love of my life. She is a BCBA, which is a board certified behavior analyst. So it's her job to set programs for children with developmental disabilities, most typically autism. And that job requires a lot of data collection. And now that I'm in the business of data, I figured I'd create an app to help her out. I want to create cool things with technology that make people's lives easier, so why not start at home? So let's imagine this scenario for a moment. You are the parent of a 4-year-old child with autism, and it comes time to put them to bed at night. You come into their room, tell them it's time to go to bed, and immediately there's a meltdown, a huge temper tantrum. This happens really commonly with children with autism, and it can take up to an hour for parents to calm the child down and get them to go to bed before they can continue on with the rest of their night. Now, on top of that, if they're doing the due diligence, they want to take data on this incident so that they can give it to their healthcare providers so they can better set a program to help fix this behavior going forward. Do you really want to sit down and do paperwork after dealing with a meltdown like this? What if there is an application that you could even pull out in the moment, log that data, and be able to have it also shared with your healthcare provider? Well, the solution is my application, the ABC Data Logger, and it makes this data logging process as easy as ABC. Let's check it out. So from the home page here, we can either go ahead and create an account or log in, but we have an existing account. So let's go ahead and type this in here. Whoop. And you know, sometimes the emulator likes to have a meltdown too. Let's restart that real quick. And I cannot type while I am being recorded. All right. So as soon as you log in, you're going to be asked to go ahead and select a case. So we just have one here. We'll pick him. And you're immediately going to be brought up with that child's case history. So these are all the dates of different incidents. And you can click on all of them to bring a drop-down menu to show what incidences occurred on that given day. It's a really easy tool to be able to compare one day to another. But the whole crux of this app is it's supposed to be really quick and easy to log new data. So let's go down here to log new incident. And it all starts off with the A, the antecedent. What caused the behavior? So we'll say they were given a direction or task, go to bed. And then the behavior itself was a temper tantrum, so screaming and yelling. And then the consequence, the parents kept the demand on, they eventually got the child to calm down, and they went to bed. And then finally a date and time. So we'll just say that this was right now for the sake of argument. And we'll submit that incident, and you'll see it's immediately populating now in our incident history. Now we have all this data, let's do something with it. So if you bring up our side menu here, you have a list of options. We can connect cases to other accounts, so that way spouses and other healthcare providers can access this data and log it all in one place. But what we want here is the data tab. So we can get the frequency of different behaviors set up in a graph here. So let's select screaming and yelling. That's the one that we've been really trying to correct lately. And let's check out last month. Let's do October of 2020. And you'll see we instantly get a graph of the rate of the frequency of the screaming and yelling behavior for that month. And if we want, we can go ahead and pop on over to this current month and compare it to how we're doing so far. And it looks like there's a lot going on around the beginning of the month, first half of the month, that might be really setting the little guy off. So that's good information for our healthcare providers so that we can like kind of work on that going forward. And then when you're done, just go ahead to log out and you can get on with the rest of your night. So some technologies that I used while making this application was Python with Django for the back end, a React Native front end using React Navigation, and PostgreSQL for the database. Some challenges associated with this project was learning the ropes of Django. I've had a little bit of Python experience, but Django as a backend was far different for me coming from Rails or Node. Some of the documentation was a little bit more difficult to navigate. Also, this was an entirely new stack for me. Outside of my limited Python knowledge, I had no prior experience with any technology going into this project. And then finally, as you saw at the beginning, debugging for mobile and working with emulators can be sometimes a bit of a trick, even during presentations. Thank you so much for listening to me. My name is TJ Backors. This is my info down below. And if this is an application that looks like it might be useful for you or someone you know in your life, I encourage you to have them reach out to me because this is an app that I very much want to deploy to the Google Play or iOS store in the near future. Thank you very much.
Hey, way to go, TJ. Well done, well done, well done. All right, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for your final presentation of the Git Forked Cohort Capstone Showcase presentation this evening? Of course you are. Sanjeev, go ahead and fire when ready, sir. How about a big hearty round of applause for Sanjeev Yogi?
Thank you, Kyle. Good evening, everybody. My name is Sanjeev Yogi. I'm a full stack software engineer. A little bit about me. I got my bachelor degree in architecture in 2011 and worked as an architect for a few years. I also have a master degree in construction management. I graduated with a master degree in 2017 and worked as a project engineer for a couple of years. As you can see, I have a background in architecture and construction management. I love both art and technology. I think software engineering is a field where you can do both. If you want to invoke your inner artist, you can do that in software engineering. And if you want to dive deep into technology, you can do that as well in software engineering. So I decided to pursue a software engineering career and join a Flatiron in August. So during this pandemic, we all have experienced this problem. We're forced to meet our requirement through online shopping, but online shopping is not always fun. As you can see in the pictures, sometimes because of the complex and unfriendly websites, and sometimes because of the inability of customer to physically inspect the objects, which might result into vast difference between the reality and the expectations. I think these problems of the online shopping can be addressed through minimalistic approach in the website design. Less is more is the principle we use very often in the architecture. I think similar principle can be used in the website design to improve the user experience. Besides that, I think we can use new technologies to bridge the gap between traditional in-store shopping and the online shopping. So I've tried to use this similar principle in my app design. So let's get started. So if you don't have an account, you can simply go here and register. Since I already have an account, I can simply come here and put my login info. So once I'm logged in, I'm presented with the home screen where I have a number of watches and the prices. So to get up more info about any of these watches, I can simply click any of these watches. So I'm going to click this watch. So I have all the info about this watch. So case material is stainless steel, brand is MBMT. So I like this watch, so I'm going to add this to my cart. So here I have this watch in my cart, and here's the pricing. So I might want to add one more watch for my. So I'm going to add one more watch. So this brings the total here. So once you are done with the watch selection, you can simply go here and put your payment information and complete the order. So this is pretty much my app. If you want to stick around, you can go here, play with the profile, preferences, setting, and with the theme. Once you're done with the shopping, you can simply sign out and it takes you to the home page. So to build this app, I use Rails on the back end, React Native on the front end, PostgreSQL for the database, and Unity for the augmented reality. So while building this app, the challenges were the use of the new technologies, which I had to learn in a couple of weeks. And besides that, this is the first time I was making a mobile app, and mobile app styling was a challenge as well. If you want to get in touch with me, here is my contact info. Thank you for listening.
Well done, Sanjeev. Outstanding. Well done, well done, well done. All right. So that's our show for the evening. So we got a couple thank yous that we need to do, and then I have some thoughts to leave you with. So first of all, How about one more large round of applause? Go ahead and unmute for these fine presentations you saw this evening. Very nice. Also, how about a big hearty round of applause for all the staff that not only like teaches the students, but also puts this program on and makes all the magic of the last 15 weeks happen.
You guys rule.
Very nice. So these capstones, you can go ahead and mute now. I'm talking. So the capstones, one of the things that I really like about working on these, I've been in this business a while now. This is my 32nd capstones, I believe. Probably just over 700 different capstone presentations. But one of the reasons that like I keep doing this, and I like doing it so much, is that these keep pushing us to be more, to be better. When you're around people who push themselves this way and keep taking on these ambitious projects and reaching, and even when things get hard, they keep pushing through it and they still present. That's an infectious energy to be around. And like, if you want that in your company, like it, even if you're like, you got a whole bunch of old salty dogs working on your staff, it injects new life when you have people that are willing to take on ambitious things and stick with them. So all the people that you saw this evening used to be something else. They have previous skills, talents, all kinds of things. And now they can do this. That's also an inspiring thing to be around. When you see someone who has passions, interests, you saw that all through these presentations, and now they have the skills to solve the things that the problems that they care about. So, you know, I think that there's an attitude sometimes that like being a programmer or a coder or something is like, it's kind of a pejorative term. So you're just doing what you're told. Other people design these things and then you build them. But that's what a computer does. Computer builds what you tell it to build. And I think that devs should be smarter than the things that they're building. And so you saw like a lot of technical excellence this evening, but hopefully you also saw what I had a boss once refer to this as heads up development, which is how does this impact people? Where does this fit into something? Are you thinking strategically? And so you saw a lot of evidence of people bridging that gap just now. Every single one of those presentations, every one of them had some significant technology that we don't cover in this program. The program ultimately, we teach Rails, React. That's it. I was keeping track during the presentations. React Native, Go, Postgres, Redux, Node, Express, Wave Accessibility, Firebase, Expo, Mongo, Bootstrap, TypeScript, Dialogflow, Python, Django, Beautiful Soup, Vue, Unity. I think I missed a handful in there also. Every single one of those things, that's not a flat iron curriculum kind of thing. That's the people that you just saw present were like, I want to build this. I want to try building it with this technology. And then they made that happen. Isn't that who you want to work with? Isn't that who you want in your organizations? Like, that's an inspiring thing to be around. So you saw great apps tonight, but I hope that you also saw passionate people with the talent to impact the world. So to all the loved ones in attendance this evening, thank you so much for your sacrifices. Like, we know that, and like your grads know also, how much this takes out of the people around you. This is like a full body commitment for a pretty long period of time. For any employers in the audience tonight, act fast. People are going to move quickly. And shoot, to all of you, thank you so much for spending an evening with us, and hope you stay safe tonight. Have a lot of fun. Back over to Brian. Thank you.
Thank you, Kyle. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You summed it up, my friend. that is the show for this evening. Thank you all so much for being here and joining us. Congratulations to our graduates on your successes with your capstone projects. We will celebrate with you all tomorrow morning. Good night, everybody. Enjoy your evenings.
Cheers. Unless you're presenting, I'm sending you a Zoom link right now.
Great job, guys.